Hello, it's a lovely good evening and welcome to Camnet TV Main News. My name is Jeffrey Siambo to present. Top stories in the news tonight. The UPND vows violence-free by-elections. An opposition leader urges government to adopt the content in Bill 10. Clergyman calls on security wings to raid the notorious CHIBOLYA compound. In international news, Peru protesters angry over ex-president's prison release. And in sports news, Leicester into top half after win over Brantford.
On Monday, 21st March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba at 20:45 hours with his guest, Professor Munkumba.
Youth empowerment and inclusive development. In Zambia, we have at least 9 million youths, of which 2 million are excluded, and they need to be included in the affairs of the nation. The subject of youth empowerment and youths themselves, they are both an asset if well harnessed, but can be a time bomb, and a difficult time bomb to diffuse if not properly handled in a proactive manner.
Don't let this moment pass you by. Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Some women of Mafinga District have called on the government to ensure that Mafinga District Hospital is fully operational. Women interviewed by Camnet News are happy that the hospital has been partially opened, saying it has helped alleviate some of the challenges they have been facing in terms of accessing maternal services. Meanwhile, District Health Director Dr. Philip Munkonge reveals that this becomes the first referral health center for complicated maternal cases. More in this report.
Maternal mortality in sub-Saharan Africa remains high despite programmatic efforts to improve the maternal health. In Zambia, findings shows that maternal deaths over the years have not had any significant decline, with over 1,000 deaths recorded during the period of 2015 to 2019. Lack of access to health care in rural areas and remote areas is one of the major challenges that pregnant women faces, and Mafinga District is not an exempt, in which roads are a major issue. But recently, the partial opening of the second hospital is meant to specifically deal with such complex maternal issues. District Health Director Dr. Philip Munkonge reveals that this becomes the first referral health center for complicated maternal cases in the district.
Also collecting all the cases in the district that are getting complicated. And those cases have been referred to this district, and those that need operative interventions we are able to do from here. So basically that is what we are doing. It is just a maternity theater and labor ward wing that we've opened. For example, we don't have the x-rays, we don't have the scans, we don't have the laboratory services, so we cannot fully run the facility without those equipment being made available. But we know that this is in the pipeline, and sooner or later we believe that with this being made available, we'll be able to fully run the institution.
Women have explained that if fully operational, the hospital will benefit the community, given the challenges they face to access the main hospital.
Kumunyamula kumfisia sirialino kutambula simunyamule sirialino kuyamfisa kuisoka sona muchuru kuzira pano muto vira shomeni mukati wongereko la kushitengo huo mtindo wongereko huko
tukumba wakabate so problem ina yukuti sozi yakuno kumapinga kutali kuisoka kuti wakamate movement tewona kuti zababu tutvatwa kuri mungapumanga byose bingasanga ngapo pano Jona nepepnena.
Tandi tulufuma kumuyombi. Bele baponga turutakule so tiri kuzakuna. Kwene tuonga shomene.
Sensitization of community members on the need to seek medical attention is also needed to get rid of some myths in the community.
Kwene kutuba doctor wakoma bantu sha vinyake ni deka tukufuma na vyuko kukaya. Kwaniso kulingana na doctor mabalile hapa tukubabonga ba MP tuyoya pa masoyini kutukuba room tukuba fyenga cha batu bakugwira ntchito na manasezi yawo bakupinga para vyasuzya nishi vyasuzya nadi
bakuvomba chomene mwanzini osati tupulikire vyantu pote hivi tupulika ndikufika na kuboma vya utesi vangampisalinge yayi vantu vakuvomba bakugwira ntchito boni ukuzila ine ndachili chose nkanyamulapo cha kwene nkubokera kubanyana kufuna kubanyani na nese sinawa bakunovida kwene nkuwenga chomene shuta abe nabo.
Reduction in maternal mortality is a global priority. To these women, a fully operational hospital would mean lives being saved in the district. Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Mafinga District. A 48-year-old man of Lusaka's Mutandabantu compound in Kanyama constituency, Obet Natuba, has allegedly assaulted his ex-wife with a metal bar and damaged her household goods after one of their children refused to give him 100 kwacha. Given Calabar, the victim has told Camnet TV that her ex-husband, whom she divorced in 2020, after 23 years of marriage, has made her life a living hell to a point where she has no peace in her own home. She explains that the recent incident occurred after she told her former husband to stop calling her their children to ask for money. She says this is owing to the fact that he has failed to support the children. More in this report.
As she sat quietly recalling how she was hit with a metal bar by her ex-husband, Given Calabar 45 could not help it but shed tears. Married for 23 years but divorced her ex-husband Obet Nantumba 48 in 2020, hoping to escape the physical torture, this mother of 5 was far from being right. She has since gone to a community-based human rights organization to seek remedy. In an exclusive interview with Camnet TV, Ms. Calabar narrates that her former husband, who is a bricklayer by profession, resorted to physically abusing her after one of their children failed to give him 100 kwacha note. She explains that on the mature day, Mr. Nantumba came to her place and demanded money from one of their children, but upon failure to produce the money, decided to assault her and damage her household property in the fracas.
Daddy nilibendera manani ni wa achabe yakuti nikutumire so mwana mwame wanambo mfresha nyina daily wakabuka tinifuna drama nilibendera mambegeza nikasakire nyama mena watumira phone na timu osa pressure ninga mwana mpame mnaendera ni support bwanja bemmaleta ko kuno nimazirushirane ekaine simaleta ko support iliyonzi babula bambo shauta chape chisatana bwanja bambo ni shauta ndio wameona bwerera flowing de mailo bakwera bafika chape so anapange olodi bangena chape mu nyumba pa TV bamba kukwanya.
Miss Calabar further laments that her life is in danger because despite marrying another woman, her ex-husband has posed a threat to her family as he come to her house to torment and physically abuse her. She has since reported the matter to the police, but was first advised that they do not interfere in marital dispute. However, upon informing the officers that they separated in 2020, the police told her to come back to their office on Monday and report the case under the Victim Support Unit.
Kanyama police wanaendo tuza tiyo ndisi issue yatu ni issue ya victim support mukapwele pamani. Na waoza vintu sifili bwino mnyumba kasha sembe taenda mwendo ona vintu wamevili mnyumba wanatikaniri. Ati sesi problem yatu hiyo stima ngena mvikwati ne vikwati vinasira ngudala tweza go sinikala nawe nikala chapela bana ndi bamenikala nawe ati ya istinga ngene mo issue yavikwati ngati nikugwera mukapwele pamande ku victim support imagulisa chape mahasha na fikiamu.
And when contacted for a comment, Mr. Nantumba's phone was off, although his mother assured the community-based human rights organization that she was going to bring her son after being summoned. Meanwhile, the human rights-based organization where Ms. Calabar reported her case to, Court Concerned Citizen for Justice and Human Rights, says it is disheartening to see how a former husband could behave like that towards someone he loved just because one of their children failed to give him 100 kwacha note.
As an organization, our position is that we want this matter to be reported to the police because this is a serious issue. It's almost killing a person. We report this matter back to the police until the police they need to take action against this particular person.
Cases of gender-based violence in Zambia keep increasing, with the most victims being women. Recently, Republican President Mr. Hakainde Hichilema also spoke on the issue, urging men not to abuse their partners.
Why did you reach out to her if you didn't love her? So if you love her, you will not be violent against her.
Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A clergyman has called for a cleanup of Lusaka's CHIBOLYA compound as it remains the epitome of illicit activities in the city, thereby posing a danger to society. Reverend Meshach Manduli says it is high time that sanity is restored in the compound, given the increase in crime and violence cases in Lusaka. Reverend Manduli has challenged the United Party for National Development UPND administration to deploy security wings to raid the area in order to combat crime. More in the following report.
Known for its crime rate and generally drug abuse is the notorious CHIBOLYA compound, as it is commonly called by the local people. For years, all has been said and done, governments have come and gone, but no significant change has been noticed. Reports of different kinds of crime are a story of the day. According to Reverend Meshach Manduli, a lack of political will has contributed highly to the worsening of this community. He has noted that the new Dawn administration has an opportunity to bring about sanity given its approach to governance so far.
But then in this day and age, it's a Pandora's box. It's a free-for-all. And we expect, principles to be there, values to be there, and ethics to be there and to be upheld when we are failing to do the basic things. Because ask this question, Alex, what does it take for the administration to move into CHIBOLYA? And because it's a known source of illicit activities where drugs are abused, where, chamba is sold, cannabis, and all sorts of things there,
He has since challenged that if the resettlement process cannot be attained, tightened security forces can be employed instead.
That very source, that is a known place. And I think there's been raids that have been done before. So there is already a precedence that has been set. But what is required, and I think this administration, is now just to stamp it out completely. Because now there is already a precedence. They can move in, they can clean up, and then now ensure that there is no more, drugs that are trooping into CHIBOLYA and trooping out.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News in Lusaka.
The governing United Party for National Development, UPND, has pledged violence-free campaigns in the forthcoming by-elections. Party chairperson for elections, Gary Nkombo, has since implored opposition political parties to be violence-free. Mr. Nkombo made the remarks at a media briefing when unveiling the party's candidates for Mongu District mayoral by-election in Western Province, local government ward by-election in Lukulu ward of Luwingu District, and for the Katimba ward of Monze District.
While the United Party for National Development administration is keen to see an end to the costly by-elections, for now it remains a burden the country has to continue to endure until relevant legislations are put in place. The Electoral Commission of Zambia has prescribed Tuesday, 22nd March 2022 as nomination day, while polls will take place on Thursday, 14th April 2022. The governing United Party for National Development has announced its candidates. The party has adopted Nyambe Muyumbana as its candidate for the Mongu District mayoral election. The party has adopted Peter Chanda for the ward by-election in Ilukutu ward of Luwingu District in Northern Province, and Brian Chingula for the Katimba ward by-election of Monze District, Southern Province. Party chairperson for elections, Gary Nkombo, has pledged violence-free campaigns.
Other political parties, we would like to make an appeal, an earnest appeal, that please feel free to conduct your campaigns. And we would like them to also pledge in the same manner that we have. And coming from the party that is governing now, we would like them to play their part, to also conduct free, incident-free, fair election, and we are quite confident that come the 14th of April, the deserving candidates will take the day.
And Mr. Nkombo has appealed to the Electoral Commission of Zambia, ECZ, and the police to execute their duties professionally.
To the Electoral Commission of Zambia, we also expect you to play your role in conducting and refereeing a free and fair election. To the police, again, we would like you to play your role, that being of enforcement and continuously policing these activities called election, because it is a competition of ideas, a competition of what one promises to provide, and not a competition of fists.
And the party's mayoral candidate is confident of scooping the seat.
12, but there's only one person who's been gotten. I want to appeal to my colleagues that were in the race, that we need to come together and support each other. It's not that I'm the best, it's just that there should be one person at a time.
Meanwhile, UPND, Western Province Chairman Kapelwa Mbangweta, who is also Western Province Minister, says the UPND is committed to develop the area which he said was neglected by the Patriotic Front administration.
To make sure that everything now falls into place, and we are hopeful that we'll get a better result. Better result because the PF has done nothing for Western Province. They have done absolutely zero. In 6 months, the UPND under the leadership of President Hakainde has done so much for this province. For example, they are building 22 secondary schools, which the PF had negated and forgotten all about us. They have reformed the farmer input support program, whereby some of the districts here were not getting anything. Now, everybody will get something.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
New Congress Party leader Peter Chanda has urged the United Party for National Development UPND administration to retable the Constitutional Amendment Bill 10 in Parliament. In an interview, Mr. Chanda says once that is done, it will be easier to make amendments to the Public Order Act and the Electoral Process Act. He says the UPND administration should appreciate the role the previous administration played in the process of trying to ensure that some lacunas in the Constitution are sorted out. More in this report.
Talks about the need for a constitution reform process has been overdue, with the current administration pursue a constitution reform process that is said to have lacked inclusivity and popular engagement.
The need for constitutional reform. And that also comes to mind in the sense that there are certain emergencies, if I may use that term, that need to be addressed, certain matters that need to be prioritized. And the plea that His Excellency made was to all members of Parliament to set aside their political affiliations and look at dealing with these in what I would look at as a one-off amendment perhaps to the Constitution before the holistic review is undertaken. What do I mean by this? There was reference to all the members of Parliament coming together and addressing the question of by-elections and of course any other lacuna that need urgent attention.
However, opposition leader for the New Congress Party, Peter Chanda, urges the UPND administration to retable the Constitutional Amendment Bill number 10 of 2019 back into Parliament and pass it into law. Mr. Chanda says the government must give a clear roadmap with regard to the amendment of the Constitution.
It gives us a source of concern because these are some of the matters that we contended and we wanted Constitutional Amendment Bill number 10 to pass so that we can change the Electoral Process Act and the Electoral Code of Conduct. These are issues that the Patriotic Front government wanted to address, and we all went to National Dialogue Forum. We sat, we reached a consensus, and all we needed was Constitutional Amendment Bill number 10 to go, to pass. Then from there we are going to have an amended Electoral Process Act, which would have determined a different mode of addressing by-election issues.
He has since urged Minister of Justice Mulambo Ahimbe to retable the Bill 10, which his predecessor Given Lubinda had started but was shut down.
Constitution Amendment Bill number 10. Let it be retabled in Parliament so that it can allow for policy formulation and policy amendment to all other legislations that we pointed to when we sat at the National Dialogue Forum. So that is the easiest. The easiest is to retable that. Comrade Haimbe should stand up and say, what my predecessor Given Lubinda was working on, I'm bringing it back into the House, because that are the consensus of the people.
In 2019, the ruling government at the time tabled several amendments to the 2016 Constitution. The proposed reforms had raised concerns of constitutional regression. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
A political analyst, Professor Bizek Piri, has urged the United Party for National Development members to abide by President Hakainde Hichilema's stance that no one will be shielded from the wrath of the law for committing crimes. During the address on the progress made in the application of national values and principles, President Hakainde Hichilema said there is no honor in terrorism, violence, and discrimination against fellow citizens. And Professor Piri tells Camnet News that the head of state has demonstrated that he wants to do things differently compared to the previous administration.
The Zambian political landscape is incomplete without talking about political organism disguised as political cadres. In the build-up to the August 12 general election, various reports from the non-state actors, such as the Foundation for Democratic Process, highlighted concern on cadreism, which had become extreme under the previous administration. People lived in fear. Wearing anything red was the worst thing one could do. The bus stations and markets were politically dominated beyond the reason why they existed. During his address on the progress made in the application of national values and principles, President Hakainde Hichilema emphasized that there is no honor in cadreism, violence and discrimination against fellow citizens.
As indicated, our administration remains committed to the rule of law to ensure an orderly and just society. Today, Madam Speaker, anyone can go to Intercity Market and catch a bus. You can go to Kulima Tower and buy what you want, or indeed do what you want, even when you are wearing your regalia of the opposite side. Only 7 months ago, that was a death sentence.
And a political analyst and historian from the University of Zambia, Professor Bizek Piri, tells Camnet TV News that the president has been consistent on his stance regarding cadreism. He says it sends a strong signal against lawlessness.
So when people are doing things to harm or things that are going to create animosity and thinking that they will be protected by the UPND leadership, I think President HH has made it very clear that anyone who commits crime will be on their own. So what that means, therefore, is that those leaders that are saying things that are detrimental to the integrity of the UPND, the law will take its course, and they should not expect to be protected by the party because they are members of the party.
He feels the head of state has demonstrated that he wants to do things differently compared to the previous administration.
He wants to move away from the position that the others took from the previous regime, where people were doing things and that because they were in power, they would be protected. President Hakainde Hichilema said he will not go that route. If people make mistakes, the law will take its course, and they should not go to him and to the party to say, no, protect me because I hold a position in the party. So that is something that I think as Zambians, and particularly the leaders in the UPND, need to be very careful and follow strictly the guidance from the president.
As the cadreism situation improved under the UPND rule, you too have an opinion on this matter. Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
Party for National Unity and Progress, Nalolo constituency Member of Parliament Wamunyima Imanga says a lot of developmental projects such as road construction will be implemented under the Constituency Development Fund, CDF. In an interview with Camnet News, Mr. Imanga says that apart from the roads, some schools will also be upgraded.
In 2017, the government of Zambia launched its 7th National Development Plan. Through this plan, the Zambian government aims for the country to become a thriving middle-income nation by 2030 by building on previous NDPs. The 7th National Development Plan departs from sector-based planning to an integrated or multi-sectoral development approach. In bringing development closer to the people, Party for National Unity and Progress Nalolo MP Wamunyima Imanga says a lot of developmental projects such as road constructions will be implemented under the Community Development Fund in his constituency.
For roads, feeder and township roads, main road. Connecting Nalolo West to East, the Kalabo-Kalongola road is being graded by ZNS now to try and connect the two. Then obviously we also try to lobby from other partners outside government. But the best bet we have is resources through government, because road infrastructures, it's capital intensive. So I've been engaging the Minister of Infrastructure.
He told this reporter that the developmental projects will enhance economic development in the province and the country at large.
The plans we have is to build, proper infrastructure through CDF. We've already approved the 1x3 there. We using CDF. So mostly for those schools that have pole and mat, our plan is to, in the next 5 years, focus on giving them proper infrastructure and adding boarding facilities so that we can, as a constituency, benefit from the boarding fund, because Nalolo constituency doesn't have the boarding school.
The goal of the 7 NDP is to create a diversified, resilient economy for sustained growth and socio-economic transformation driven. This is in support of the UN 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development and the African Union Agenda 2063. Blessings Chakwila, Camnet News.
Healing Word Ministries International Overseer and Pastor Moses Chilwa has cautioned against the use of social media as a platform of divisive commentaries. This is in reaction to some commentary going around various social media platforms concerning former President Edgar Lungu's recent sport interview on hypocrisy. Pastor Chilwa has noted that some people have taken the interview out of context, a tendency that must be condemned by all well-meaning Zambians. He has challenged Zambians to take social media as a stepping stone to build the nation and not a platform for hate speech. He said this during a Sunday church service in Lusaka.
There are some people, Donji, who use the social media for greatness. But lekeni nande muchibemba. Kwali banaba wapa social media ifipuba. Fie na fi komenta fie pa maferia zi abantu. Bachagwa kumanda balilanda pwe chintu. Okweva ati hypocrisy tuleke. Have you seen how that statement has been taken? Surely, waikala, waliupa, walikwata nenchito. Ukwamba fya kuchita analyze ila ina statement, tawa kwata fimbi fya kuchita. Valandilefi, bushe, vulwele nangunishi. When a person speaks, leave him. Have you heard the President Akainde respond to that? Huh? He hasn't responded. Ebo chile kalipa ni mambi. Abashaka tuteke pono kututeka. Ebo chibabile.
You're watching Camnet TV Main News. We'll take our first commercial break. We'll be back with more news after the break.
Savanda. Save nations, develop Africa. Connecting African countries to each other and connecting the African continent to the world. This logistics and global supply chain management group offers end-to-end solutions across all sectors of the economy. agriculture, energy, telecommunications, finance, construction, transportation, and insurance. And now, its initiatives are greener than ever, operating in line with government guidelines and working to provide energy security for Zambia and beyond. 25 companies united under one group and one vision. Savenda, trade and logistics made easy.
Team, the trajectory of the business looks very positive, and it looks like we'll be able to launch the ministry. Has so much data.
Mom.
Yes, baby.
It says here, global warming and climate change is caused by the pollution from careless activities of human beings.
Wow! Son, do you know I can turn my phone into a TV remote?
How's that possible?
It's so easy. Check this out.
Be smart, be fast with mega data from Zamtel. Get your 15 GB mobile data for only 100 kwacha, 30 GB mobile data for only 200 kwacha, and your 70 GB LTE data bundle with free Netflix, YouTube, Facebook, and WhatsApp. Visit our Facebook page, website, or service centers countrywide for more information. Zamtel, your digital lifestyle partner.
On Monday, 21st March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba at 20:45 hours with his guest, Professor Munkumba.
Youth empowerment and inclusive development. In Zambia, we have at least 9 million youths, of which 2 million are excluded, and they need to be included in the affairs of the nation. The subject of youth empowerment and youths themselves, they are both an asset if well harnessed, but can be a time bomb, and a difficult time bomb to diffuse if not properly handled in a proactive manner.
Don't let this moment pass you by. Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp, and text messages. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Camnet TV is becoming big and better. You can now watch Camnet TV wherever you are around the world, simply by downloading the Camnet TV app. With Camnet TV app, you only use less bundles. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. Former Police Commissioner Antonio Mutentua says the establishment of a police academy in Chibombo district will increase the intellectual capacity of police officers and the ability for them to work more professionally. In an interview, Mr. Mutentua says there is a need for police officers to go beyond the 6 months training they are getting from Lilai College, as things have changed and become more advanced. He adds that Lilai College was established back then by the colonial people, and that the training that officers are getting is not up to date with the current advancement of how things have changed.
During the last pass out parade at Lilai, the Inspector General of Police, Lemi Kajova, did allude to the fact that government had approved the construction of an academy somewhere in Chibombo. Yes, and to me that came as beautiful news, because when we were in the system, we were advocating for an establishment of an academy. The beauty of an academy is that the world has changed. Lilai was established years back by the colonial people, and the training is only 6 months, which is basic. In time, a lot has taken place in terms of knowledge and even just understanding of people. And so it should also follow in tandem that police officers should be trained beyond the 6 months. And so an academy to me is a welcome move, because it will accord officers in the police to be trained in more advanced subjects beyond the 6 months that they do as basic training. One of the benefits that is straightforward is that, you see, police is an organization, and an organization is supposed to do things in a certain way. So the establishment of an academy will definitely increase the intellectual capacity of the officers. And once officers will be intellectually more capacitated, it means that the ability for them to work more professional will be there.
Citizens Environmental and Social Concern Executive Director Conwell Hakapia says Zambia must not condone the concept of waste to energy, saying it goes against the principles of a secular green economy. Waste to energy is a process of generating energy in the form of electricity and or heat from the primary treatment of waste or the processing of waste into fuel source. Mr. Hakapia says burning waste is hazardous for his citizens' health and the environment. He says even the most advanced technologies cannot avoid the release of vast amounts of pollutants and that contaminate air, soil and water and end up entering the food chain.
It shows that this is not feasible. This is not environmentally friendly. It is not clean energy. It is not a direction that we can take. And besides, the same waste to energy also kills the green jobs that we are trying to create as a people, like waste pickers jobs. The green economy, we're grateful to the new Dawn government that has come up with a Ministry of Green Economy and Environment. The green economy itself promotes green jobs, and when you bring in these incinerators to burn waste and create and make energy, I mean, you're killing the same green jobs that we are talking about, because the creme de la creme of green jobs, I mean, there are jobs like waste pickers, you see, that we are trying to promote in our country. And if we go that direction of waste to energy, I mean, we are trying to kill what we are trying to produce at the end of the day. So waste to energy is not the direction that we want to take as a country. It's not clean. It produces more waste, more pollution than the energy that actually it produces.
Stakeholders have continued to back President Hakainde Hichilema's resolve to end teen pregnancies in the country. In his address to Parliament on the 11th of March 2022, on the progress made in the application of national values and principles, the President stated that child marriages and teen pregnancies have remained critical issues in Zambia. More in the following report.
Preparations for the Komboka ceremony for the Litunga of Western Province, Lubosi Imwiko II, have reached an advanced stage as the date for the event is slowly approaching. The province has held HIV and COVID-19 stakeholders sensitization meetings, followed by commencements of mobile vaccinations in order to create a safe environment for people that will be coming for the ceremony. And a Komboka Fluela fundraising dinner dance has been held to raise funds.
Tourism Minister Rodney Sikomba has applauded the people of Western Province for exhibiting unity and cooperation in preserving the Kuomboka ceremony for over 300 years. Mr. Sikomba said the country has many ceremonies that take place annually with one common goal of transmitting cultural traditions to the next generation, of which Komboka is among the unique historic events. He said this in a speech read for him by Western Province Minister Kapelo Mbangweta during the first ever Kuomboka fundraising dinner dance that was held in Mongo at Barotse Mall. More in the following report.
Preparations for the Komboka ceremony for the Litunga of Western Province, Lubosi Imwiko II, have reached an advanced stage as the date for the event is slowly approaching. The province has held HIV and COVID-19 stakeholders sensitization meetings, followed by commencements of mobile vaccinations in order to create a safe environment for people that will be coming for the ceremony. And a Komboka Fluela fundraising dinner dance has been held to raise funds for the successful hosting of the ceremony, where Tourism Minister Rodin Sikumba, who was represented by Western Province Minister Kapelwamba Ngweta, graced the event.
Komboka is regarded as one of Zambia's richest and most historical traditional ceremonies that attract people across the country and the world, as the Gambela said in his remarks. The Komboka ceremony is a well said to be over 300 years old. As a result of this, he would like to applaud the people of Western Province for preserving and safeguarding this wonderful and historical culture. We have a duty to ensure that this practice and custom does not die in our hands.
And the Barosero establishment, Ngambela Mkela Manyando, outlined the significance of the event.
Komboka actually is a special ceremony that we celebrate every year when the waters on the floodplain rise and make life uncomfortable for the people living on the plain. They must evacuate to the higher ground. It is originally meant to escape from the elements on the plain to the safer areas on the upland. But today, Komboka has now taken on special status. It has become a tourist attraction.
And Induna Imunda, who is also the chairperson for Lusaka Komboka Organizing Committee, described the Western Province Komboka Dinner Dance as successful and further disclosed that the Lusaka Komboka Dinner Dance will be held on the 26th of March 2027.
This is the first time. So nilibata kuli Rubone, Moika Zamaela, nimoluka kona kuli going forward reze improve. Encha. Hape nikubula yasichaba kuli la 26 March. Lukaba ni fundraising dinner dance ya Komboka. Mwalusaka kwa Mulungushi Conference Center.
The dinner dance was attended by various lawmakers and senior government officials from across the country. Sifue Mwangala, Zanis Mongu, Western Province.
This is Camnet TV. We take another break. We'll be back with international and sports news after this break.
Your skin is the biggest muscle in your body. That's why we make sure that Oracle is #1 when it comes to taking care of your precious skin. Oracle Pure Petroleum Jelly and Glycerin soothes, moisturizes and keeps your skin perfect. Oracle Pure Petroleum products for that perfect skin.
We welcome you to the wonderful world of Savenda Electronics.
At Savenda Electronics, we pride ourselves in manufacturing high-quality electricity and water meters.
Boasting of the first of its kind state-of-the-art manufacturing plant in Zambia, Savenda Electronics manufactures customized smart electricity and water meters of international standards for both the local and international water and electricity utility companies. Our highly computerized factory, run by qualified staff, makes, calibrates, and electronically tests the smart meters to ensure only those meeting customer specifications are delivered to the market. Some of the main features which come with our meters includes notifications about low units, tempering, low battery, and many more customized features. Savenda Electronics provides on and off-site after-sales service and has favorable contract terms for water and electricity utility companies. Savenda Electronics, the real deal.
On Monday, 21st March 2022, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba at 20:45 hours with his guest, Professor Munkumba.
Youth empowerment and inclusive development. In Zambia, we have at least 9 million youths, of which 2 million are excluded, and they need to be included in the affairs of the nation. The subject of youth empowerment and youths themselves, they are both an asset if well harnessed, but can be a time bomb, and a difficult time bomb to diffuse if not properly handled in a proactive manner.
Don't let this moment pass you by. Invite others to participate through phoning on Skype, Zoom, WhatsApp and text messages. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Welcome back. And in international news, thousands of Tunisians rallied in the capital Sunday, the country's Independence Day, to protest against President Kais Saied and consultations over constitutional reforms proposed by him. Meanwhile, hundreds of people in Peru are protesting against the court's decision to release a former president from prison. Alberto Fujimori is serving a 25-year sentence for murder and corruption. For more in international news, here's a roundup.
Thousands of Tunisians rallied in the capital Sunday, the country's Independence Day, to protest against President Kais Saied and consultations over constitutional reforms proposed by him. The demonstration was organized by the Islamist-inspired Ennahda Party and a movement named Citizens Against the Coup. Concerning the national consultation, I do not believe in it, I will not participate in it, and I am against it because it is a manipulative operation against the people's inspiration and their true wishes. This kind of process goes against the freedom, against the demands of the people, and against the achievements of the revolution. We cannot call this a democratic process. For me, the way Kais Saied went about it is a mistake. We elected him thinking that he was going to be a president for all Tunisians, but today the people are divided. There are those who are pro and those who are anti-Kais Saied. I hope that all those who believe in democracy can hear our voices. It is the latest in a series of demonstrations in the North African country since Saied seized a host of powers after dismissing the government and freezing parliament on July 25.
Angry scenes in Peru's capital. Protesters say the judge's decision to pardon former President Alberto Fujimori is an insult. Teodosia Kawaya says she will not forgive or forget.
He has to pay his full 25-year sentence. He has killed many innocent people. Fujimori is a murderer.
Fujimori, who governed between 1990 and 2000, remains a polarizing figure in the country. Some Peruvians laud him for defeating the Shining Path rebel movement. Others want him held to account for human rights violations carried out under his leadership. Gisela Ortiz's brother is one of the students killed in a massacre.
We are outraged. The Constitutional Court now frees Fujimori, a right that does not correspond to him, and tramples on the right to justice that we have as family members.
The court's decision on Thursday restored a humanitarian pardon granted in 2017 by then-President Pedro Pablo Kuczynski. The following year, the country's Supreme Court overturned that decision and sent the former strongman back to jail to serve the remainder of his sentence. Some experts say this latest decision to pardon Fujimori contravenes international human rights treaties. His family and supporters say that Fujimori's health has deteriorated during his incarceration and believe he shouldn't have to die behind bars.
Fujimori hasn't complied with part of his sentence. He hasn't acknowledged his crimes. He hasn't paid reparations or asked the victims for forgiveness or contributed to solve some of the crimes where people remain disappeared.
Some critics say they wouldn't oppose Fujimori's release if he admitted to his crimes.
If
there was a public expression of forgiveness to the victims, that would change the situation a lot. We have been waiting for it for many years, but it is not going to happen because he and his defense continue to say that Fujimori is innocent.
Defense lawyers have asked the Inter-American Court for Human Rights to review the decision. For now, Fujimori awaits his release, with supporters celebrating the man they consider a savior during Peru's civil war. And others who expect the International Court to say the decision by Peru's court is no. Mariana Sanchez, Al Jazeera, Lima, Peru.
Let's have some sports news now. In sports news, Timothy Castagan and James Maddison both scored brilliant goals as Leicester beat Brentford to move into the top half of the Premier League. Castagan, on his first appearance of 2022 following injury, hit a swerving effort into the top corner from outside the box from Harvey Barnes' cutback. And Maddison curled a fantastic 25-yard free kick into the other corner after he was fouled. It capped a good week for Leicester, who clinched a Europa Conference League quarter-final spot on Thursday in Rennes. Brentford pulled one back late on as Brian Mbeumo found Yoane Wissa, who drove a shot in from 20 yards. The Bees pushed for an unlikely equalizer, and Kasper Schmeichel had to save a deflected shot from Premier League debutant Tariq Fosu. To end Camnet TV News, the headlines once again. The UPND vows violence-free by-elections. An opposition leader urges government to adopt the content in Bill 10. Clergyman calls on security wings to raid the notorious CHIBOLYA compound. In international news, Peru protesters angry over ex-president's prison release. And in sports news, Leicester into top half after win over Brentford. When I look at the Camnet verse for the day, which is coming from the book of Isaiah 55, verse 8 to 9. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, and your ways are not my ways. This is the Lord's declaration. For as heaven is higher than earth, so my ways are higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Thank you for watching Camnet TV Main News. My name is Jeffrey Ziambo, and have a lovely evening.